Hey everyone, Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video we're taking a look at the Diablo Sport Pulsar LT and Trinity 2 MX kit fitting 2019 to 2022 V8 powered Silverado and Sierra 1500s. Now this kit from Diablo Sport is going to be perfect for the Silverado or Sierra owner who wants to get the most out of their truck without having to tune it. This is a comprehensive programmer and monitor setup that is totally plug and play and will allow you to change a bunch of different parameters to match up with other modifications or just to change up your driving experience and help you get the most out of your truck. When it comes to programmers or modules like this, it's important to understand what they do, but also what they don't do. So let's start out with what this is not, and the big thing that this does not do is tune your truck. So this is not meant to increase the power output of your engine to give you additional horsepower or torque. So if you're looking to crank up the power of your engine or get something that's going to help accommodate for other engine modifications, such as a supercharger, this is not going to be your setup. However, what this does do is pretty darn cool. Now this setup is going to allow you to change multiple different settings on your truck that you otherwise would not be able to change. So for example, you can change or set the speed limiter anywhere from 82 up to 140 miles an hour. Now if you've got a new driver who might be behind the wheel of your truck, this is an easy way to keep them from driving too fast. Or if you decide you're going to hit the drag strip one night, you can bump up that pesky stock limiter. Now you can also adjust things like the tire pressure monitoring system standard PSI. So if you're running aftermarket wheels and tires and you need to run a different pressure for those, such as for off-roading purposes, you can change that here to avoid getting that annoying light and message on the dashboard. You also have options to adjust both the axle ratio from 2.0 up to 6.99 and input a tire size correction for tire sizes from 29 inches up to 50.9 inches. So if you're running larger wheels and tires, or if you change the rear end axle ratio in your truck, this is going to allow you to correct the speedometer and odometer readings to keep them accurate, so you know how fast you're going and how far you've traveled, because both of those things are rather important pieces of information. But there's still more. If you're looking for a way to disable active fuel management, that cylinder deactivation setup, you can do that here as well. This is going to keep the engine running on all 8 cylinders all the time, so you have no more of that shutting off half the cylinders and getting that weird drony noise on the highway. This also allows you a way to clear and view diagnostic trouble codes. So if your truck throws you a check engine light at some point, you've got the option to be able to reset it quickly and move on. And you can see the description and the actual code itself very easily using the Trinity 2 monitor too. And you can see both the code and the description easily using the Trinity 2 monitor. But on top of all that, you also get the option to switch between 5 different throttle sensitivity settings. So this actually functions like a throttle controller too. And since newer GM trucks all have electronic throttles, you will get some lag between putting your foot down and the engine actually responding. In here, you've got 5 different settings in addition to stock to adjust how your throttle responds. First setting reduces response by about 15%, and then you can increase the throttle response by up to 65% over stock with the other 4 settings. Now by now you might be wondering how you change all of these settings around, since there's no remote or anything and we're not using an app with this one. So everything can be controlled via your steering wheel controls. You can also change the throttle sensitivity settings on the fly while you're driving, and altering other settings can be done before startup using the same controls. However, lots of those things that we just talked about can also be changed via the Trinity 2 monitor. Now this monitor is also highly configurable, so it can show you all kinds of different data while you're driving, and it functions as a data logging device as well. So it'll save your numbers from your drive, your drag strip runs, or even a dyno test should you happen to do that. You can upload all of that to your computer via Diablo Sport software to help keep an eye on things or compare numbers, check on the overall health and performance of your truck. Overall, this is really a super flexible setup that's going to give you tons of information without a whole lot of fuss. Now the Trinity 2 unit itself is comprised of a high-resolution 5-inch capacitive touchscreen with swipe functionality. So it functions a lot like your smartphone. It makes it easy to navigate and program with a very minimal learning curve. And it's a nice looking display that you can mount in your truck for easy access and some additional engine information while you're out on the road. And that brings us to one other thing that is also included in this kit. You've got your standard suction cup mount here, and you've also got a mount that attaches to the grab handle on the side of the truck, so you can have this sit right there. This is a nice piece to see included. It's all metal and it's painted black, so it's gonna look nice in your interior as well, especially if you've got a black interior on your truck. Now the Trinity 2 also has built-in Wi-Fi that allows for over-the-air updates, so you can keep your truck and the system up to date without any fuss. You don't even have to lift a finger. Now you can, of course, update this with the included USB cable as well. And everything comes ready to go and plug in for you. You've got the harness that you need for the Pulsar unit itself, plus the OBD2 cable for the Trinity monitor, and everything is ready to go. Plus, again, you've got brackets. Everything is set to go, but we'll talk more about the installation in a few moments. Now, with all this good stuff baked in and all of this can do, you can bet that this setup is not going to come cheap. As far as pricing goes, expect this one to run you about $1,200. Now that does put it toward the top of the category, especially when it comes to programmers and not including tuners. Now that old adage, you get what you pay for, comes to my mind here, and you are getting a lot for your money, especially with that monitor. Plus, this all easily removes if you need to revert your truck to stock later on as well. Installation will get a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you about 45 minutes to complete. Now the process itself is essentially plug and play. You've got your harness here for the Pulsar unit. This is basically an inline harness where this guy plugs in, and then this is going to plug in to your harness under the hood. And of course the Trinity 2 monitor is going to plug in via the included OBD2 cable into the OBD2 port underneath of your dashboard. So you're probably going to spend most of that 45-minute install time messing around with settings in here or getting the monitor set just the way that you like it. So with that, let's head out to the shop and we'll walk you through the process.
For this install, you will need a ratchet, an extension, and a 10mm socket. What's up guys, today we're going to be installing a control module for our Sierra, so let's get started. So we're going to start things off by coming under the hood, and first place we're going to is our battery. Because we are plugging in an inline module, we are going to remove the negative battery terminal. That's going to protect all of our electronics, and definitely want to do this first. It is very important when installing something like this. So we'll grab our 10mm socket on our ratchet, go ahead and pop this terminal off. You want to make sure that terminal is out of the way from touching the post on the battery while we're doing this, so just tuck it down like so, and that'll be good to go. Next, we're going to go ahead and come to our air box here, and we're going to remove this front mounting nut, which is a 10mm, and go ahead and install our support bracket. So we'll grab our 10mm socket and extension on our ratchet, and go ahead and pop that off. We're going to go ahead and grab our bracket, slide that in place, and go ahead and reinstall that nut. Go ahead and tighten that right back down. Now we'll go ahead and unplug our ECU harness connector. So we've got this red safety tab here. We'll go ahead and pop that back. Go ahead and push in our release tabs and let our connector come out. Pop that back. Push in our tabs. Go ahead and unplug the connector here. Push that to the side for now. So now we'll grab our inline harness and we'll go ahead and plug our new connector into our factory connector here, and then we'll go ahead and plug our adapter end into our connector on the other side. So we'll go ahead and slide that over the connector, just like so. Push this locking tab down, and go ahead and push our red safety tab in. And we'll come to our other side here. Go ahead and plug that in, just like so. And then what we're gonna do, bring this over. So now that we have both of our connections secured, this one isn't locked down yet, that's okay. We're gonna go ahead and pop this connector off of the factory bracket, which ours is kind of loose, but you should have some tabs on the back side. They're kind of hard to see. I'm just gonna go ahead and push those in and go ahead and pop your connector off. Then we're going to tuck this down to our bracket that we installed a minute ago. That is a little bit tight quarters down here, but it will go. Once you get that one down, we'll go ahead and put this connector on our factory side. So we'll slot that right back in like so. We'll push our tab down to lock that in, followed by our red safety tab. Lock that down. And we can come under here. Again, it is tight quarters. We'll go ahead and line this up with our new brackets, the same style mounting tab. We'll go ahead and lock that into place. So now we're going to go ahead and grab our module, and we're going to grab our provided Velcro mounting adhesive. So we'll go ahead and stick this to the back of our module, and we're going to stick it right on top of the air box here. We'll go ahead and remove the covers from our backing, just like so. And we'll go ahead and stick this right on the back of our module here. Give that a good firm press. And we'll go ahead and stick this right on our air box. Then we're going to grab our connector plug and go ahead and plug that module right in. So now we can go ahead and reinstall our negative battery terminal. So again, we've got our 10 mil socket on our ratchet. We'll put the terminal back on the post, tighten that back down. So now our next step is going to be to come inside to the cab, and we're going to find our OBD2 port located right here. And what we're going to do is plug in our included harness for our screen that we're going to be mounting in here. So we'll grab our OBD2 port side, go ahead and plug that in. Make sure that seats nice and correctly. And then we'll go ahead and route our harness up to the windshield and plug our screen in and get that mounted. So now we're going to take our cable and we're going to run that right up alongside here on the back of this panel. It has a pretty good opening, so we should just be able to tuck it right in there. Just like so. Then we can go ahead and plug this into our screen. Just like that. So now we're going to grab our windshield mount. We're going to go ahead and set that in to our mounting point on our screen. Make sure that locks in. Then we'll take this cover off of our suction cup. Then we can go ahead and mount this up to our windshield. So now we can go ahead and mount this to our windshield. Now you have the freedom to mount this wherever you'd like in your windshield. We're just going to stick it here. So we'll go ahead and get that in place. And then we'll go ahead and lock in our mounting tab like so. And you do have a pivot here. You can move it however you'd like. And we're good to go. So now we've come into the cab and we're going to give you a quick overview on the functionality and different modes of your inline module as well as your screen. So what we're going to do to get things started is we're going to hold our ignition button without our foot on the brake for 5 seconds until that light turns green, and then we're going to show you how to run through the different modes of your inline module, and we'll go cycle through some things on our screen as well. So we'll go ahead and do this first. So that's green. We'll dismiss all our messages here. Okay, so now we have that. We're going to hold our cancel cruise control button for 5 seconds, and that's going to make our speedometer do a full sweep, and that will let us know it is into programming mode. So we've got our full sweep. So now we can cycle through our different modes and select which one we need to for whatever we're going to change. So 10 miles an hour is going to be our speed limiter adjustment. 20 miles an hour is going to be our TPMS adjustments. 30 is going to be tire size correction. 40 is axle ratio input gears. And 50 is going to be our clearing of our DTCs. 60 is going to be the auto start stop disable. And 70 is going to be our DFM AFM disable, and that will also disable auto start stop as well. So if we want to cycle through which one we want, we would use our cruise control plus and minus, that's up or down function to select which programming we need. So we go up or down. And then if you wanted to select which program you want, you would hit the cancel cruise control button again, and that would then allow you to go ahead and change your parameters, and it's all going to be based on the speedometer itself. So whether you're putting in wheel sizes, you would do whole numbers and half numbers in 5-mile-an-hour increments. Say you're running 35.5s, you would go to 35 miles an hour, hit enter, and then back down to 5 and hit enter. It's a little complex, but it is very easy to operate once you get used to the functionality of it. So then if you want to adjust your vehicle's throttle response aggressiveness, you can go ahead and have the vehicle running, which we're not going to do right now, but we would go through the same cycle as we just did with the cruise control off, and you can again adjust your responsiveness of your throttle control through 5 levels. 0 is obviously going to be stock. Then you go up 10-mile-an-hour increments, and then go ahead and select 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and that will give you a percentage overstock of aggressiveness of throttle response. So next we're going to show you some functionality of our screen. So we still have our vehicle in the key on, engine off position. We're going to go ahead and touch our screen here and get started with that. So this is going to read vehicle diagnostics and gauges and all that to give you a more modern digital heads-up display. So now once you've run through your loading screens and everything like that, it's going to take you to a tutorial. You can go ahead and hit continue. It's going to give you a pretty basic layout of all of the functions of your screen and what you can do with this particular module as well. So if you want to come here, it'll tell you how to clear diagnostic trouble codes from here. You can do performance tests like 0 to 60 and stuff like that. You can modify your EAS settings, different stuff like that. You can also change the face of your gauges, obviously through different functionalities here. It's going to give you a full tutorial breakdown the first time you run it. And you can have this tutorial set up to where if you ever need to come back to it, you also can as well. Just don't want to hit the disable the tutorial. Then it's going to tell you you can do anything as a switch here. It's a lot of functionality with this. You can make it a cool digital version of a flip switch or an on-off green-red switch. And then you're going to come to your basic screen here. It's going to tell you your engine coolant temp, your fuel pressure, your intake air temp, your battery voltage, and your power levels as well of your basic throttle response and all that. So you can also run through here up to 5, back down to 0. It'll tell you your fuel level is at 79%. And if you swipe down, you can change your theme settings here. And then you can change your alert, your red line, so to speak, stuff like that. All of your different warnings. And you can change your tick colors, change those out to whatever you would like. So if you ever want to do a different one, you can change your layout. You can select it as more of a bar graph style with individual values in their separate boxes. You can still have a gauge type if you want to select from these. There are many different ones to choose from. There's a whole array. You can have whatever you want to have on your heads-up display and kind of, you know, basically customize it however you would like. There's a full range of things you can do with this. You can go right back to your gauges with the little button on the left. And if we swipe right, we have different gauge faces here. Engine speed, vehicle speed, stuff like that. So then you swipe up on your screen, you can go ahead and come into your performance tests, your different settings, stuff like that, your diagnostics. And then you can do a lot of different things here. You can do a transmission relearn procedure, air filter monitor, trouble codes. You know, there's a bunch of different functions on here. We're not going to change anything, obviously, for demonstration purposes. This is a very functional unit, as well as the inline module. You definitely have the ability to tune the vehicle the way you would like as far as parameters and stuff like that.
That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install of the Diablo Sport Pulsar LT and Trinity 2 MX kit fitting 2019 to 2022 V8 powered Silverado and Sierra 1500s. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, for all things Silverado and Sierra, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.